All right, welcome back to the show. Today, I've got Mike Perkins, who I think we've been in contact, 2 or 3 years, and I've kind of seen his journey, and he is really, really, really close to leaving his 9 to 5 and excited to dive into that. So, Mike, welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, John. I appreciate it. Really enjoy the show. Big fan. I spend a lot of my time at work, night shift some nights, catching up on some episodes. So really appreciate that. Great information.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. So kind of take us back. I don't know when. I mean, we kind of like trying to start, maybe after high school or sometime in there, more even in high school. Like, I know you're obviously still working, but kind of start with your journey. Where did you start kind of after high school, and let's kind of go from there.
Yeah, so after high school, I went to a community college, and the goal was to finish out my associates, get in a police academy, and kind of go from there and start looking for work. And didn't quite go that way. I took a break that lasted a long time. But fast forward, I did end up getting my master's degree. I was a cop for a couple different departments, worked in the prison system as an officer for 10 years. After I got my master's, I got a job at the parole board. I was a departmental analyst. Did that for about another 4.5, and just the job wasn't. It's a lot of it's psychological, and I just wanted to get away from that, so I did, and just kind of went from there. We had a part-time business at the time when I resigned from the state. We used to actually make I know you've had some guests on that are hunters, but we used to make deer calls, turkey calls, all sorts of stuff. So we did that for a while. Ended up selling that business. And from there, I just kind of got into security work. It's a lot less stress. You don't have the conflict with people like you do in police work and things like that. So that's kind of where I ended up.
Yeah. So you knew kind of at a young age that you wanted to be in law enforcement in some capacity.
Thought that's what I wanted to do. Yeah.
Yeah. And you did that for a while, and it sounds like it just kind of weighed on you too much.
Yeah. To be honest with you, it was when I went to the parole board and was an analyst there. I had to read files, the crimes, and if there was weapons involved, all kinds of stuff. And that was actually way worse than ever dealing with anybody face to face. There'd be days I'd close a file and just email my boss and say, hey, I'm going, home for the rest of the day kind of thing. But
wow.
Yeah, it's, I've been gone a long time now, since 2014 from there. And it took me probably a good 4 to 6 years to finally get out of that, what the toxicity of those environments will kind of play games with your head a little bit sometimes. So it took me a while to get out of it, but probably the best move I ever made. So,
yeah. So basically, you had to pivot there and went to security, right?
Excuse me. Yep, went to security because it was just, not as much stress involved. The conflict with people really wasn't there. That's kind of what I was trying to get away with. It was still kind of related in a way. And a lot of times you can work night shift with those jobs, so that's what I kind of like to do. So, but yeah, I'm glad I left corrections, because if I wouldn't have left corrections, I probably wouldn't have found self-storage. So,
yeah, sure. So doing security, what kind of triggered, I know you had a screen printing business as well, right?
Yeah, that's right. We actually had an apparel business for a while. We did that for a couple of years, and, starting it from scratch, it actually did pretty well. Actually sold that business, and then it was just, I found self-storage. And
so while you were working security, you started 2 different businesses. What happened there? Why do you think you started one or both of them?
Time freedom, sort of. I guess I was still busy, but I've always had a chip on my shoulder for asking somebody when I can take off work, when I can do this, when I can do that. So Um, I just wanted to get away from working for somebody else.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think that it was. I don't think my thought process was at that time was so much on time freedom, but it was more of just getting away from being controlled. You know.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Not having control.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So you tried those two businesses. How did you stumble upon self storage, which obviously we're kind of getting into where you're going and where you're at now?
Yeah. So we were moving. I we rented a U-Haul truck from this facility in town here in Michigan, and when I returned it, I was talking with the owner, and I'm like, "Hey, just out of curiosity, how do these buildings do for you? I mean, and he's like, "Oh man, it's great. Have you ever heard of, this particular group?" And I said, "No." And he's like, "Well, take a look at that and kind of go from there." So I did. I went right home. I logged on. I started poking around, and I thought, man, I need to research this. And I got obsessed with it. I mean, I got obsessed. I was working nights for a different company at the time, and I had like 7 hours to myself at night, at work. And I've got notebooks that are just stacked with notes and a lot of stuff from you on there and other people. And I just got obsessed, man, and just learned all I could. And I think it was August 19th of 2023. I called you. You were gracious enough to give me like 15 minutes of your time. And I called you. And one of the questions you asked me, if you remember, was how long have you been educating yourself? And I said, about 6 months. And you're going, oh man, you need to take like intentional, immediate, massive action now. So that was that's one of the best pieces of advice that I've ever gotten. Thank you for that, because I got off the phone with you and I already had a list of 900 to 1,000 calls already made up in my notebook that I had made. So I just started calling, and it was like 2 weeks, we were onto something. Didn't work out, but, we were onto it. And yeah, I've been hooked ever since.
Yeah. So how long? Yeah. So you said 6 months of education. And obviously, yeah, I remember that conversation. But it's it's under 1% of people that actually take action. And I talk to some people that want to get into self storage or anything else. And it's amazing because it's definitely under 1% of the people that actually take action and do something. And like more than just, I don't want to say one deal, because you can do one deal and it can change your life, obviously, right? But very few people take any type of action. And really that's all it is, right? Like you can educate yourself as much as you want till you take action. That's when you really start learning. So yeah, you started cold calling. Did you send letters? What did that process look like?
Yeah, I didn't send any letters. To this day, I've never sent a letter. It's been all cold calls. And, just to kind of give you an idea, I'd get home about 5:30 in the morning. I'd get right to bed. I'd be up by about 10:30. I was tired, you
Yeah.
know, I was tired, but had to be done. So, yeah, I'd get on the phone, man, and I would call all day until, they started closing around here in the Midwest, 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. And start hitting like out west, where there was a 3 hour time difference, and, start calling out there and just doing everything. I mean, I'd call like 4 or 5 brokers a week, and just kind of have conversations and just trying to foster and build relationships. And, I'll be honest. I mean, I didn't have 2 pennies to rub together, when I started. And in fact, I mean, I was in not the best financial situation, my wife and I. So I looked at it like this. It was like, there is no quitting because I don't have a choice. I'm
Mhm.
at that time 49 years old. Um, you know, what people told me 30 years ago, how time flies, it's true.
Mhm.
We're here. I look around me and I see how people survive financially. And it's just like, we've only got one shot at this. And I don't want to live like that.
Yep.
so that's what really drove me. It's like, we're gonna have to work harder than everybody else, and I've, I'm sure there's people that outworked me, but I felt like I worked pretty doggone hard. And, um, after a year and a half of hitting the phones like that and just talking to different people and developing relationships with people, giving back, trying to figure out how I can help them and not expect anything in return, because all that certainly comes back to you. And yeah, I just let everybody and their brother know. I thought, I don't care if I look foolish, I don't care if I sound foolish. Everybody and their brother is going to know what I'm doing. And I still get like messages from people, like I'm friends with them on Facebook, but I've never had a conversation with them. And they'll send me a deal. Hey, saw this, take a look. So now, I mean, I don't really do a whole lot of cold calling because my plate stays pretty decently full. Enough to keep me completely busy, my wife and I. So yeah, I'm really satisfied with where we're at and how we've gotten here. And yeah, man, it was I mean, lots of deals have been gone through and a lot of them didn't work out for one reason or another, not necessarily anything that we did, but just didn't make sense or whatever. Seller changed their mind overnight, $250,000 raise price. I mean, all kinds of stuff. So to take those kicks, for lack of a better term, and keep on going, it's tough. But as long as your why am I doing this? As long as, I think, in my opinion, as long as that is strong enough, there's no going to be no quit in you. I talk to people once in a while. They'll call and they'll have a question for me, and sometimes I can tell in their voice that you're already done before you get started. Just by the things you're saying, the excuses that come on, dude. I mean, if I've got a 9 to 5 job and my lunch is from 1 to 2, you know what I'm doing? I'm out in the car calling, or when I get home, I'm calling out west, whatever, mailers, whatever. If you can't make those calls during the day, some way to reach out to those people. And I would say think outside the box on that too. There's a lot of things that are available to us that are absolutely free that work phenomenal. I mean, I use one of them. We were just talking about it last night. I use one of them, and I mean, it's a wonderful tool. It's totally free. But yeah, just think outside the box and just, yeah. Sorry for rambling. Yeah.
Yeah. It reminded me of, I actually just interviewed I call him a kid. He's 18 years old. Technically he is a kid. I guess technically he's an adult, basically a kid. And he was on the show, and I asked him kind of where he's going in the next 10 years. And he has this huge plan that I don't think, not just 18-year-olds, but I don't think most people would share that, especially to anybody else, let alone on a podcast. Not that this is, Joe Rogan's podcast or anything, but there's some people that listen, right? He put it out there, and, it reminded me of what you did and doing. You're constantly out there, whether it's Facebook, networking groups, storage groups. You're constantly telling people, hey, I'm buying storage. And like, I mean, you can see it. There's no one out there that's doing that, right? The more that you kind of speak it into existence, right? Just telling people about it, saying out loud. And then it also kind of holds you accountable. It's like, well, I've been saying this for like past few months. I probably need to keep going with this thing. And I want to hit on that too, to where you said, what was a year and a half of calling before you got a deal? Is that right?
Yeah. Year and a half, or actually closer to 2 years. Yeah.
2 years, which is, to me, that may be more impressive, or I don't know. We'll see. But that may be the most impressive thing, because most people give up like month minimum, right? Or maximum, I guess. They're like, oh, a month into this, I've called 200 places. No one's answering. No one wants to sell. People just give up, right? 2 years in, still going. You finally found a deal, kept going, and you didn't pivot. You just kept going. That, to me, that's where, and I see it all the time in self-storage and other asset classes, people are jumping ship because we're in a market cycle, right? real estate and really a lot of things right now aren't doing as great as they were 3-ish years ago. So people are abandoning ship and trying to find something else, trying to pivot, as opposed to just putting their nose down, grinding, and figuring out what they're in. So yeah, kudos to you to do that. I mean, I don't know if I know anybody that has gone 2 years, just kept going, and finally found a deal. So that's crazy impressive. I know you said why, one of the reasons why, it was the freedom that you wanted, but did you need, I know for myself, I needed to stack like little wins along the way to make myself feel a little bit better. Did you do anything like that? Or was it just like grinding? I got to get this freedom.
Yeah, I mean, we had a deal last year that we thought we were going to buy it. I mean, everything lined up. It was a good deal. And then we had some environmental concerns come up from next door. So long story short, I remember sitting here in the living room and my wife was like, "Can you wholesale it?" And I said, "Yeah, I mean, technically there's 12 days left in the contract, but yeah, I mean, yeah, you can." So we did. And, that was our first one. And I don't have a problem sharing with people. I mean, that was a $50,000 wholesale fee.
Awesome.
So you think about that for a minute. How many hardworking Americans are making $50,000 a year? And we just did that. So when that happened, my wife was with me on this whole thing the whole time. But when that showed up in the bank account, it was like, whoa, it's there. I mean, I can see it. It's real. And I said, "I told you, and bless her heart, man. I mean, she's like a huge part of this now. I mean, she's a huge part of it. So, but yeah, I mean, a lot of people do quit, and it's just like everybody's got a choice, and it's like, you've got a decision to make. It's either I'm going to, if you call on Monday and Tuesday, you're kind of like, nah, do something else. And Wednesday, call, next week, call. It's like, I would suggest that you just, I mean, look around you, if you have people around you that are doing this every day, there's no question it works. It's just a numbers game. I mean, if you make 10 calls a week, it's going to take you a little longer to find a deal as opposed to if you're making 100 calls a day. And that's what I was doing, man. I was just trying to like maximize everything I possibly could. And I remember you said, "Don't worry about all this other stuff. It'll all fall into place. It'll come together." And that's what I had to finally do. I mean, I was worried about the square foot per capita and this and that and the other. And I'm like, hey, I'm just going to start calling, having conversations with people, get the ball rolling and try to get something. And took 2 years, but you know what? I'm glad that, sure, I would have much had something work out prior to that. But during that 2 years, I mean, man, we've learned a ton, So it's easy to get people to say, yeah, I'll consider an offer on my facility, but you just got to make the calls. And then part B is, to me anyway, that's why I look at it. Part A is it's easy to find somebody say, yeah, I'll take an offer. Part B is, are they realistic or not? And that's, kind of where the rubber meets the road.
Yep. And that's where a lot of people give up too, especially, last couple of years. Sellers and buyers have been not on the same page, right? So that's where, I think and listen, it's been coming up on 2 years since I've closed on a deal. Now I've got one under contract right now, but it's gotten harder, but how creative can you get? So was your first deal the wholesale deal?
Yes.
Okay. Then after that, what happened?
So after that, I guess it was maybe 4 or 5 months later, we found this next deal, and that came to me from a relationship that I'd kind of fostered with this wholesaler who's a really good guy. And he sent this deal, and yeah, I looked at it and I thought, man, unless I'm missing something, it's, pretty good deal. So I got on the phone with a couple of people who have became good friends and business partners throughout this whole process. And yeah, we looked at it for like 30 minutes. We were like, let's get it under contract and figure it out later, kind of thing. And so yeah, we did. We closed on it, and then came the operations end of it. So, we've been through all that too. So, um, yeah, it didn't take too long, and it seemed like, John, once you got that first one, the momentum just kind of seemed to pick up. And I don't
Yeah.
know what it is about it, but and I think there's, and I've heard this said before, when after you close one, for some people, it's like a lot of people like to take like a little lay down time and kind of lay down on things. And I'll be honest with you, I'm guilty of doing that. I did that for about 3 weeks after we closed the one in Georgia. And I'm finally, one day, I was just like, hey, man, you got to get back on the horse and keep riding, and like John Farling says, keep your pipeline full. So, yeah, it's been amazing, man. It's been one of the toughest things I've ever done in my life, because I've never been a patient person, really.
Mm.
And, traditionally when I was younger, I'd start a lot of things and not finish them. And this is just, it's not just self-storage. This is just opened up a lot more things to me that are clear now, and that I didn't know about myself before, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's very cool. So what's that first deal? What's that look like?
So that's in southern Georgia. It's 16,000 square feet, 116 doors. We've got a 30 by 40 warehouse there that we're trying to get rented right now. Got 2 buildings there that were just built within the last 3 years. And then the other buildings were, other 4 buildings were a little older. But yeah, do you kind of want me to give you a quick synopsis of what we kind of did there? Or?
Yeah, if you want, whatever you want to share, we're good with it. Yeah.
So it was your normal mismanaged facility, 80% occupied on paper, when actually it's about 38.
Oh, wow.
Once you take away all the people haven't paid in 5+ months. So there was a website, he had ESS, but there was none of it was, it was completely dead. There was nothing working in there. So we went through, or my wife and I went through, and we revamped that, got everything up and running as it should be. Just put some rules in place, did 18 auctions, got the bad eggs out, and started filling up with new renters. So we inherited a boots on the ground lady who, for the first couple of months, did a really good job, and then kind of started messing up on some things. And we did a surprise visit to go install some cameras, and didn't like what I saw when I got there, and had a car towed, and let her go, and replaced her with a guy that lives like 3 blocks away, who's absolutely phenomenal. And so just that little change right there, from getting rid of her and replacing her with him, has really helped our business too. It's taken a lot off our plate. So
talk about who you hire. I've found too that whoever comes, if you hire someone that comes with the property, 99% of the times it doesn't work out. Because I've tried it with a couple of them. I think technically one guy, I don't know if he helped, but he's kind of his second eyes on the property. He's been with me from day one on my second property, for the most part, day one. He's been great. But like, if they're actually working at the site, doing work, they've never worked out for whatever reason. It's like the old operations, they just bring that over.
Yeah, it's amazing the difference it can make by having the right person in place for the right job. But yep, so we got her out of there, replaced him, installed our cameras, did just a few improvements, nothing real major. And then, we've been operating for a little over 6 months now, and that's been a great experience. It's not as, I'll say it's not as tough as I thought it was going to be, but there's more to know than what I thought.
Yeah.
So, we're still going through that and learning things here and there, but I feel comfortable with this next one that's coming up. We feel comfortable that we've done this once. I mean, we've got almost everything done that we need now for closing anyway, but um, we feel comfortable going there and spending a couple days doing the due diligence, looking for problems, um, and just getting all of our information correct, making sure, income's correct, everything that goes along with it to make sure everything jives before you close and everything. But yeah, the operations part of it's been a really good experience too. Really enjoyed that. Mm-hmm.
So you've had that 6 months about, you said, is that right?
Yep. Yep.
How many times, and it's in Georgia and you're in Michigan, how many times have you been down there?
3 times.
3 times. That's a lot for 6 months. How many times do you think you'll be down there next 6 months?
I don't know as if we'll probably go back in 6 months. Yeah.
Now that you have your system set up and.
Yeah. Yep. And I knew there were some things going on with the boots on the ground there anyway. I didn't have cameras, and I had my suspicions, and we jumped in the car and went down there and
what were those? Because I think that'd be interesting to kind of talk about. What were the things that you were like, I don't know if this person's doing the right job or not?
Well, being a cop and stuff like that in the past, and just working in the prisons and dealing with people, it's like, there were some things happening, like, she'd be real responsive, and then we would text her, call her, and, you wouldn't hear from her for 3 days. And it's like,
oh, wow. Yeah, that's a problem.
So then it kind of clued me in, and I started doing a little bit of research, and I'm like, whoa, we probably shouldn't have her working for us. Just with some, I guess, some crimes that were committed by her and her family members and stuff. It was a mess last year, I guess. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I think we need to get rid of her for sure now. And so, yeah, when I got there and saw the car parked there, I'm like, yeah, that they were like partying in our warehouse. So, it's like, why are you there at 1:30 in the morning? I mean, and so, yeah, we got rid of her and got her replaced. But yeah, it was just some suspicions that I had. I mean, not responding for 3 days kind of sounds like a binge to me, kind of thing, and made sense with what I kind of knew. And I'm like, yeah, it's worth it to drive 12 and a half hours one way to see what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you guys have cameras?
We did. We took them down there, and that trip,
on that trip. Okay. So you didn't have that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where cameras are so, I mean, if you can get them installed in the first, basically right after you close, like, especially, with you being 12 hours away, like cameras it's how you can tell what's going on at your property. Now there's things you're going to miss, right? You're not going to see everything. You actually have to be on site to see a lot of things. But yeah, obviously having cameras, you probably would have caught that stuff a little bit earlier, especially the 1:30 a.m. parties.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, when we first got them, I mean, I was checking them out, pretty regularly, but now I don't that much. But, like, yeah, I'll get an alert, and there was a lady that rides her bike over there, and she brings a dog with her, and she opens a gate, and then she was like sliding a paper, I think, in front of the eye so the gate would stay open. And then she lets her dog off leash, and I'm on the audio, on the camera, and I'm like, hey, so-and-so, you can't manipulate the gate, we need to talk immediately. And we've tried to call her. She won't answer. So we locked her out, force her to call us. But yeah, just odd things like that. One guy jumped the fence for, there was a tow truck driver, and he was trying to come in to give the lady a jump that was in the lot, and he jumped the fence. I seen him jump the fence, and I'm like, so yeah, I mean, just things here and there, but nothing too major.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, storage has endless amount of stories. I've learned, well, fortunately I have a great team now too, but I learned early on, if there's not an issue or I don't suspect an issue, don't check the cameras, because you're going to find something and you don't want to watch it, right? Like you see someone unpacking their unit and then packing and then unpacking it all in one trip. And it's like, you've been here for 2 hours. All you're doing is unpacking and pack. Like, it's just, yeah. it could drive you nuts if you just sit there and watch the cameras the whole time.
Yeah.
So what? So yeah, that deal. Now you've got the second deal that it sounds like going to set you financially free, right?
Plan. Yeah.
What's that deal
Yeah.
look like?
Another mismanaged facility. The owner is out of state owner. He's got a boots on the ground. Well, I'll say he's got a third party manager there that he's paying, I don't know, whatever per hour. I think 15, $20 an hour, 40 hours a week. And it's like, so, and then that one is 31,000 square feet, 261 doors. It's just mismanaged. There's no software, there's no website, there's no marketing, there's no advertising, really no nothing. It's definitely got potential. I mean, it's a really good deal. I was fortunate, blessed enough to be involved in it. But yeah, that one it's got quite a potential, and we're really excited about that. We want to get going, and we've been down there once, my wife and I, and did our due diligence, and everything checked out. No red flags, really.
That's good. What state is this in?
That's in Missouri.
Missouri. Okay.
Yep. So, yeah, we're excited. It's got a ton of potential. It just needs pretty much the normal levers that we all talk about pulled, and we should be fine there. It's really excited about that one.
Yeah. So you running like third party call center, you got cameras, gate fence, some type of storage software, ESS or Cubby. Are you doing like that type of typical remote model?
Yeah, we take our own calls.
Okay.
At this point, I thought that was important for us to do. So we take our own calls. We'll take our own calls for this site too. And I kind of like to have a pulse on that, like the customer service aspect of it. And yeah, so I mean, eventually, obviously, that's something that'll be handed off in the future as we go along here in this journey. But yeah, so ESS, pretty much the norm. It's got manual gates, so I've got a quote coming on a couple of slide gates there, automated gates, and it's kind of a bummer. You got to have two gates for that facility because you can't enter either entrance and access the whole facility. So the way it's set up, so you'd have to have two gates there. But yeah, just your normal stuff. It's just mismanaged, out of state owner, really doesn't have a pulse on it, just pays this guy to collect checks. And yeah, there's, it's one of those deals where each tenant has their own individual like folder, on paper kind of thing, nothing in Excel even. So we're going to have to do all that by hand, which is fine, but just adds a little more work to it, but that's all good.
Yep. Been through those. I've been handed first deal was a milk crate full of just paper leases. And I want to say they were like, not just current leases, but leases back from whenever. So yeah, that's, you got to do a little bit of dirty work up front. It's gotten easier because I think the ones I'm working on right now, that current owner uses StoreEdge. If they use some type of software, it makes things so much easier. But yeah, I'm not unfamiliar with the paper leases, and you have to enter everything into a spreadsheet. So it sounds like this one is going to, and actually when this airs, you maybe already have left your job, because I think this airs in probably 3 weeks from when we're talking right now. So it sounds like you're going to be doing a little bit of the work, probably answering calls and probably saving some money there so that you can leave your job. Is that right?
Yeah, trying to save everywhere we can. I don't have a whole lot to replace as far as income goes, so that's the good thing. But yeah, I mean, we're just there's a couple things that we seller ran into, nothing huge, that's being taken care of, and we're just waiting to get a closing date. And so yeah, it could be the end of this week, middle of next week. Not sure yet, but yeah, we're excited to hit the ground running, and we've already got ESS set up there with as much as we can possibly do. And then at this point, and got everything else covered, and yeah, ready to go.
That's awesome. So the first one, I don't remember if you said it. First one was wholesaler. How'd you find this one?
This one in Missouri was actually business partner.
You did say that. That's right. So
Yeah.
relationships. So even though you've done a ton of calling, right? And eventually those are going to start, you're going to start seeing those come to fruition. But you've been putting yourself out there, networking. So your two deals that you've got were because of relationships, just putting yourself out there and talking to people.
Exactly. Yep. 100%. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome. Well, yeah. And yeah, it sounds like you're still keeping your pipeline full by making calls, and you've been doing that for a while, and those will pay off eventually. It's just like you said, it's a numbers game. And once you get one down, it makes the rest of them easier, because I think it's a couple things. I think one, it builds credibility. So now you can have probably a little bit higher level conversation with the sellers, and you can tell them, listen, I own storage. So now you kind of have a relatability with them too. And two, I think it builds confidence in yourself. It's like, I've done this. I'm doing this. I am a storage owner. I'm no longer like in this unknown territory and not really sure what this looks like. So I think it's both those things. It's kind of helps. Once you get one, it just starts to snowball. So I'm excited to see what you're going to do, coming up.
Yeah. And just thinking positive, I mean, we all have days. I mean, we're all human. I mean,
Yep.
Everybody can get a little down, or, second guess yourself and things like that. And man, I can think of at least two times that I've been kind of talked off the cliff, and for different reasons. But yeah, it's just, I think you said the other day, I was watching one of your solo episodes, I think, and you said something about you do your best to, if it's negative, you do your best to just kind of keep scrolling, kind of thing. And since you've actually said that out loud, that's kind of what I've been doing too. If it's like political, whatever, negative stuff, I just kind of go by it. And I try not to give too many on-ramps to negative thoughts to get in my head. And yeah, I mean,
distractions. They're all distractions.
Yeah. Yep. And I will say this is that, I said at the beginning of this, I became obsessed with this, which is okay, I think, to be obsessed with it. But then there's an issue that I had with, I became so obsessed with it that there was something else that was really important to me in life that kind of took a back seat to it, and that's my health. So last year I was 60 pounds lighter than I am right now, in all honesty. Something I'm not happy with at all. And, we're starting to do something about it now. I've, lost 10 pounds, I think, in the last couple of weeks, which is good. But I got so focused on one thing that I let, something else that was really important to me kind of slide, if you will. And I've been trying to learn how to be able to, have two things or three things, whatever, and give it equal amount of focus, not losing one or the other completely, So that's something that's really bothers me right now in my life, is that I've gained this weight back, but I know I did it once, I'll get it off again. That's just learning to kind of balance those things, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that's so powerful. And it's funny. I think it's the next episode, not that it's about my episode coming up, but my next episode that's coming out is, I think it's something about, is obsession a bad thing? And you just made a great example of when it's a good thing and when it can be a bad thing. Right. And I don't know if it needs to be balanced, but you can't let your health go, right? You don't want relationships go, your spouse, your kids, stuff like that. You don't want those things to go to the wayside. But if you can be obsessed with like what you are with self-storage and keep those other things important, right, and on your plate, and be just as obsessed with those things too, how is that a bad thing, right? As long as you're not cutting out the important things in your life, and I think it's a good thing. I think obsession it's how the most successful people in the world are great at what they do.
I love it. I mean, I love everything about it. I wish I'd have found and known about this when I was in my 20s. But hey, I was 49, I think, when I discovered it. And I know there's no question in my mind what our future looks like now. I mean, it's not dependent on, oh my God, I hope my 401k, I'm 2 years away from retirement and all of a sudden everything plummets and you've went from 1.2 million bucks in your 401k to 600 grand. I don't have to worry about that because I know what our future looks like. And that's because of the work we've done, but more importantly, the people that we've surrounded ourselves with. Because, we've all heard it 1,000 times, like you are the person, the 5 people that you hang around with or whatever it is. And that's so true. And believe me, man, there's been 3 or 4 people that I just really don't talk too much anymore, because once in a blue moon, because they just don't serve me well to talk to them.
Yep.
And my brother will never see this, so I can say it. He's one of them, so I just kind of keep things at arm's length, and because it doesn't serve me well to communicate with those people regularly. So there's been things I've cut out of my life to help us progress,
Yeah. Well, hopefully me tagging you on Facebook with this podcast when it airs doesn't get back to him somehow.
Oh, if it does, it's no big deal. Yeah, we're good on that.
But no, this has been awesome. It's awesome to see what you've done. I have no doubt in my mind that you continue to have success, and it'll be cool to see that too. So if anyone wants to reach out to you, have any questions or just connect, where can they find you?
Yep. So I think my email is attached to my name there. It's mperkinsinvesting@gmail.com is the best way. And then, of course, around Facebook, Mike Perkins. And I'm happy to help wherever I can. And John, I want to say, man, I really appreciate what you've done, because I don't know if you realize it or not, but you've helped me significantly. And I know you've helped a lot of others significantly too. And I will say, the Do More podcast, and I'm not just saying this because I'm on here, but when I'm at work, I see your stuff come across, and I'm like, there's been some guests that you've had that I've just, man, that's so intriguing. I want to look into that, and just different things that are covered. And especially your solo episodes you do are just, I find those especially to be just super helpful. So I want you to know that, man. And like I said, August 19th of 23, you gave me one of the best pieces of advice that another person could give another. And I'm so thankful, because if you would have not said that, maybe I'd have waited another month or 2 or a year, who knows? Yeah. So really appreciate what you've done for all of us.
Well, I appreciate that. That's words can't express how appreciative I am of that. And I don't want to cry, so we're not going to talk anymore about it, but definitely appreciate that. Definitely appreciate your support. And again, excited to see how your journey, continues. And again, when this airs, more than likely, you probably will not have a 9-to-5 and you'll have that freedom. So excited for you.
I appreciate it, John. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, again, appreciate everyone for listening. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for following, subscribing, and listening to this episode of the Do More podcast hosted by John Farling. To learn more or ask questions, go to l4investing.com.